Hello Aries, welcome to 5th House Divination. My name's Kirsty and today we are going to do a solar return reading for you, so happy birthday. This reading will do you from your birthday in 2021, so your birthday in March or April that's coming up, and it will do you until your next birthday in 2022. So it's an overall view, it's an energetic view of the year ahead. So we'll give you a general theme, and we'll also look at where your mind is this year, what you're thinking about, how you're feeling, and the sort of the action that you're going to be taking, and how your year is going to expand. So highlighted then for you this year, guys, up in the sun position that we've got here, we've got the Two of Cups. Oops. And we've got the Six of Wands, and the Two of Cups talks about our connections with others. This could be people or things that really sort of resonate with us. These are the people, places and things that reflect our values back to us. And this can talk about how we connect with other people. And we've got the Six of Wands here, and the Six of Wands talks about recognition, achievement and success. So I think this year the spotlight is going to be on how you relate with other people, your relationships, your connections, and the success of those. I think there's going to be a recognition of yourself through the connections with people and the things that you love and that you enjoy. The Two of Cups is a mirror. It's a mirroring energy, and I think we're going to the Aries. Sorry, I'm saying we because I've got an Aries moon. I think the sort of the Aries energy this year is going to be learning a lot about themselves through their connections and their relationships to either people or to things that really sort of resonate with them. So the energy that we've got coming in this year in the moon position is we've got the Ten of Wands, and we've got the the Star card. So the Ten of Wands talks about laying down burdens, feeling overburdened, and really sort of understanding that we're overburdened and making a decision and deciding that we can't kind of continue as we are and that something needs to change. And we sort of then sort of cherry pick what we want to carry forward, what we want to leave behind. Is a sort of an understanding that we are overburdened. A lot of the time we can just kind of carry on and keep going and keep going and keep going and not realise just how much effort that we're putting in. But at the Ten of Wands we understand, there is an understanding that we are overburdened. And with this Star card, could be Aquarius energy that's coming in for you. Aquarius, actually, thinking about it, does talk very much about freedom, liberation, revolution. So I think there is some energy, some level of freeing yourself from the burdens, from the obligations of the past. This might not necessarily be physical obligations or burdens placed on you by other people or from society. This can be our own inner internal thoughts and beliefs that maybe sort of hold us back from doing what we want to do, or thoughts and beliefs that make life more difficult, make it harder work than it might necessarily have to be, like trying to eat jelly with a fork. And then the Aquarius card, as I say, this talks about freedom, liberation, revolution, rebellion. But it can also talk about that freedom, revolution, rebellion is basically gets us onto our path, a path that's better suited for us. So we think there's some kind of setting down of burdens that are sort of stifling us as I say, these could be our own, and looking at a lot of the cards that are here, I think for many of you, many of us, this could be our own internal burdens and restrictions, things that we place on ourselves, not necessarily just the external world. But we'll come to see those through, as I say, we've got this mirror with our relationships and the things that we connect to around us. So I want to go up to the Mars position. Aries is ruled by Mars. So this will be a really sort of strong energy for you in your chart. So in the Mars position, in this reading, this talks about our active participation, our energy, where we put it, the actions that we want to take in the year, or the actions that we will take. And in the Mars position here, we've got the number 20, which is the Judgment card. It's here with the Two of Swords. Both of these cards can talk about a review, an understanding of the truth, making a judgment and deciding what the truth is and moving forward in that truth. The Judgment card also talks about, on a more profound level, it is a rebirth. It's having gone through this moon energy that we've got here, through to the sun, which isn't here, and then we get to the Judgment, and it talks about a real profound understanding of who we truly are. And I think with this Aquarian energy, this path, say for me, this energy that we've got down here, this star card for me represents North Node energy, so it does talk a lot about the path. And I think by getting onto the path, we're going to be getting onto the path by really sort of recognizing the truth about ourselves, who we really are, and through this we're then going to balance. There's going to be a lot of balance that comes from that. We'll be able to balance our passion, our inspiration. But it's a sort of a recognition of our internal nature. It's a rebirth into our true nature. And as I say, that this is where our action's going to be going, the action that we're going to be taking. So there is very much an Aries 2.0 going to be emerging over the coming year. In the Jupiter position that we've got here, this is how our year expands. This is how we grow. And in the Jupiter position, we've got the Ace of Wands and we've got the World card. The Ace of Wands is passion, creativity, self-esteem. And the aces are the start of a new journey. And then with this, we've got the World card, and the World card is a closing out of a journey. The World card is the final card in the Major Arcana, and it talks about closing out a cycle, because we understand we've learned all the lessons. There's nothing more to be learned in that situation. The Ace of Wands comes after the Ten of Wands. So I think in this laying down of our burdens, we're going to be closing out this cycle, by laying down the things that are no longer serving us. We are going to be coming into a new way, sort of creativity, self-esteem. We're sort of, by closing out this old cycle, we are starting again. So we're going to be expanding again, as I say, through this sort of rebirth, this rebirth energy. And it talks about we could be sort of putting ourselves at the service of others. Again, as I say, we've got this Two of Cups. And it talks about freedom from restriction, freedom from sort of imprisonment. So this is a real kind of liberation the situation that we were in here. With this Ten of Wands, we understand now that's, we've learned this would have been a sort of a lesson. We would have been learning something here with this burden, this whatever it was that put us into this situation of being overburdened, of carrying too much. And now essentially this year we're going to be understanding the lesson, learning the lesson, putting that burden down and starting again. Reusing our energy in a different way, committing to something different. There is a new opportunity for sort of creativity, inspiration, passion. There is something new coming in for us because we've closed out this cycle. And at the end of the year, so by the end of the year, down here in the Saturn position, which talks about the sort of the structure, there is the Seven of Swords, which talks about planning, strategy, and the Six of Swords talks about reciprocation, equal give and take, and sort of fairness with regards to resources. So I think the sort of on the external aspect of the year, the sort of the action that we're going to be taking is going to get us to a point by the end of the year where we have a strategy and a plan to move forward in a much more sort of balanced way. We're going to be working, I think it's going to be much easier for us to collaborate and to work equally with others. Through this sort of this rebirth that we've had. Internally, our thoughts are going to be, so we've got the Eight of Swords, which can talk about mentally feeling trapped, mentally feeling imprisoned. And then we've got this Temperance energy with it, which talks about the rebalancing, restructuring. The Temperance energy actually comes in after the Death card, which we've got up here in the values, up in the Venus position. I'll talk about that in a moment. But so after the Death energy, the Death and Rebirth energy, again we've got Rebirth over here, but after the Death and the Rebirth, Temperance comes in and kind of picks up what's left from this transformation that we have here in this Death card, and it rebalances, reworks what we've got left. It's like, all right, okay, we've got 3 of those, we've got 1 of those, so it sort of, the pieces, what's left after this, the transformation, the Temperance energy then comes back in and rebalances it. With this Eight of Swords, there may be sort of mental closedness, mental resistance to this rebalancing, but I think we'll sort of, through our mirrors, through our understanding that we're going to be sort of coming into, I think we're actually going to see and understand where we are trapped, where we are blocking ourselves. But this is a mental block rather than a sort of a physical block. It's talking about how we hold ourselves back mentally, the thoughts that we have, how we can undermine ourselves. And I think it's that's going to be coming in for a sort of a rebalancing and a changing, which is obviously good. And then up in the Venus position, so the Venus position, is that there, wasn't it? Venus in our horoscopes talks about what we value. It can talk about emotionally how we're feeling. It can also talk about our love connections. It's also our money, actually. In astrology, Venus is also money. So we've got the Death card. It's the Death and Rebirth card. It talks about the death of something, the decaying, the falling away of something so that something else can grow in its place. This is those of you that sort of view my channel regularly will know that I always describe this card as the transformation of the moth into the butterfly, the transformation is irrevocable. Once it's done, you know, you can't go back, but it is a change, and it is a rebirth. And then with that, we've got the Fool card. So this is absolutely beautiful. So with regards to our relationships, our money, how we're feeling, it could be any or all of those sectors of our life. There is a real transformation, a profound, deep, existential transformation that's going to be coming through. And this is going to really... The Fool is the start of this, which is this 0 card here. It's the start of the major arcana. So this is really going to put us onto a brand new path. There's going to be a leap of faith and a moving forward. The Fool travels light. He's at the start of his journey. You know, he's sort of packed light. He hasn't really got an awful lot. He's not got a lot of experience, you know, not got an awful lot in his little pack. And I think that the transformation with regards to our how we, you know, our values, our emotional life, possibly even our money, the transformation is going to be so profound. It's going to put us onto a new path, a new experience, and with it, because it is in the Venus position for me, this is also what we value. So I think that this is this change, this transformation, this new beginning is something that will be welcomed. As long as we can understand this 8 of Swords and understand that, you know, there's always something that we can do with the 8 of Swords. A lot of the time we feel trapped, but if you look at the card, she's got a sword just here. And that's actually in, if we look at the other side of it, it's actually in with the binds, with the ties. It's just because she's blindfolded that she feels that she's trapped. So with the 8 of Swords, there is always something that we can do to improve our situation. So don't let this energy, if you feel trapped, don't let this energy sort of fool you. You're not trapped. There is something that you can do, no matter how small. There is something that you can do to improve your situation. So the 2 cards in the middle, I don't think I've mentioned those as yet. So the 2 cards that we've got in the middle is the 8 of Wands, which talks about energy. So the Wands is action, taking a lot of action. And then we've got the Moon card. And the Moon card talks about moving forward out of our comfort zone. In the Moon, generally the trip is through the path, through these pillars, but it's dark, so we can't see, or we can only see a few steps in front of us. And we've got these two. We've got a friendly dog and a rabid wolf. These are the voices, you know, that sit on our shoulders. Are we going to listen to the, you know, the friendly voice or the voice of fear? So this to me talks about, the Moon card always talks to me about sort of navigating through something where we can't see. We don't have the gift of sight, so we're having to rely on our other senses. We're having to rely on the internal voices, and we're using those to navigate. So this is, I think this is moving forward, putting action into moving forward in ways that we're not used to. But also for me, astrologically, the Moon is the nurturing archetype. The Moon represents the mother. So some of us could be having a sort of discussion and action with our mother. The mothering archetype is also how we nurture ourselves. So this energy speaks a lot to, for the year generally overall, it talks a lot about moving away from, it's a sort of a healing, moving away from our fears, moving away from archetypes that, or you know, kind of actions or thought processes or emotional patterns that were ingrained at a very early age, and they were put in place as a way to protect ourselves, a way for us to feel safe and secure. And we now understand that as adults, the lessons that we learned as a child don't always help us, and sometimes they can kind of hinder us and, you know, give us this sort of feeling of being burdened or making things harder work than they need to be. And I feel that this is what we are healing, moving away from this year. We're moving away from the past. We're moving into rebirth of how we do things, how we take action. And I think the beneficiary, and certainly the lens through which we're going to see this, is through our connections and through our relationships with others. This year there is an element of success and achievement with regards to our relationships with others. We've got this Two of Cups in the Sun card and the Six of Wands up here. And so externally, I think we're going to see a lot of changes. There's going to be an Aries 2.0, as I said, emerging out of this year. And I think that by the end of the year, there will be a plan and a strategy and a way to move forward in our lives in a much more balanced way that allows equal give and take with the people around us. I think life is not going to feel quite so difficult or quite so burdensome either, and we're going to sort of find ourselves on a path that sort of resonates better for us. Right, I'm going to leave that there for you guys. If you got something out of this, if you liked it, please do share your experiences in the comments. I always love to read those. And don't forget to click like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.